Robert Thomas is out for 6 weeks, and I am down bad.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And a happy Wednesday, October 23rd. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm going to be for real. My favorite player, who is also the best player on the team that I love, that I'm a fan of, is now out for at least 6 weeks before he is reevaluated. So yeah, I'm upset. So that happened. Frustrating loss to the Jets and road trip concerns now that Robert Thomas is out. We have stuff to discuss on today's episode. I have audio from Coach Bannister on Robert Thomas, as well as some of the things that some of the other players said. Listen, this sucks. But today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So the Blues played the Winnipeg Jets last night. And of course, I will talk more about it, but they lost 3-2. Again, I will talk more about it. However, in that game, in the third period, Robert Thomas went to block a shot. And the shot kind of like hit him in a way that you could kind of tell he was in pain. Like, blocking shots is common in the NHL, but where it hit, you could just tell that he was just not doing well. Left the game, obviously, when you're in that much pain. And Coach Bannister said that he's going to be getting x-rays done that night, and they would see, what was going on with him. Well, today, the news broke that Robert Thomas has a fractured ankle and will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. So even in 6 weeks, after 20 games, will Robert Thomas be cleared to play? I don't know. And that's the concern. It's at least 6 weeks that he is out, which means that he may not be able to come back. Listen, when I talk tomorrow on the episode, I will talk 100% on the lines and all that. But right now, I can't believe it. You're a handful of games into the season. It's a fluky, situation for Robert Thomas. I mean, I just can't believe it. But that is the situation that the Blues are now dealing with. So with Robert Thomas out, obviously, I already see the panic in the fan base. Season's over. What's going to happen? And I get the frustration. Now, Oscar Sundqvist, he is back. Yeah, that's it. Like, there's really nothing positive about today. But again, it's just bad. Like, he took a cross check after Saturday's game. Like, I'm telling you, Robert Thomas has really just gone through it this season in terms of, and I say this season, like, it just kind of began. And he's already, dealt with so much when it comes to, potential injuries, and now he has this fractured ankle. My honest opinion, I am freaking out because I don't know if the Blues are going to look like a good team without Robert Thomas. I don't. Okay. It just sucks. It just really, really sucks. And I am at the point where I am panicking, but yeah, Scott Perunovich, though, will be playing tomorrow, by the way, against Toronto. You know what? Here's the lines. I'll just do it now. I'm upset. So today's practice lines were, and this is from Lou, the first line, Sod on the left, Shen centering, and Sundqvist. Yep. That was my reaction too. Before I continue on about it, I respect the decisions that are made. However, I just don't understand why you're putting Oscar Sundqvist on the first line. Like, it's, you know. Second line is Texier, Bouche, Cairo. Okay. And Neighbors had a maintenance day. It was confirmed, so he'll be back and playing. So don't panic. Then on the third line, it is Bolduc, Holloway, and Matthew Joseph. That's fine. Fourth line, Torpachenko, Foxa, Kapanen. Rolls my eyes. So Robert Thomas, IR. Walker was the extra, and no Neighbors because of the maintenance day. Oh boy. On defense, it is Suter Pareko for the first pair, Broberg, Folk for the second, P.O. Joseph, and Kessel for the third, and then Perunovich and Letty, and Letty is, again, whole other thing. However, Sunquist is probably just a placeholder, though, for Neighbors, but still kind of annoying. Then, anyways, Sunquist is activated, and I'll get into Perun. This is more about Robert Thomas. I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to ramble. I cannot believe that Robert Thomas, out of all players, is now on the injured reserve for 6 weeks. Like, this team needs him. I don't know what they're going to do without Robert Thomas. I said that he was the most valuable player because he literally is the most valuable player. Here is Coach Bannister and Robert Thomas, because I cannot speak right now because I think I'm going to actually lose my mind.
Not the news you were hoping to hear this morning.
Yeah, unfortunate news for the team and for Robbie too. And the timing of it, I thought he played a great game last night up to the point of his injury. But I think it's a great opportunity for our team really to build as a team and once we get him back, whether it's 4 to 6 weeks or but it's important for us. Obviously, we're going to need guys to step up in certain roles. And
I get it. You want your team to step up. You want your team to be motivated. But you cannot tell me that this is not the worst possible scenario that could have happened to the Blues this season. Or in general. I mean, having any star player of any team deal with an injury this early, I mean, it sucks. And yeah, like, they're going to have to work around it. I just don't know if they can. I really can't believe that this is happening. Anyways, I'm not done yet. I think about Captain Braden Shen, and I respect him. I respect Captain Braden Shen. But he goes from starting the season on the third line in a wing position, moves to being a center, and now he's going to be centering the first line. And it's nothing to do with Captain Braden Shen, nothing but respect, but it's like, I just don't know. Maybe I am baffled because I cannot believe that this is happening. Anyways, Shannon Thomas, not the news you want, and this is from Jeremy. Not the news you want, but when you walk into the rink, but it's part of the game. They found out before practice. We need everyone to step up, myself included. You never want to see anybody go down, let alone your star player. This is our chance to come together and play for one another. So, good message from the captain. I mean, what else is he going to say, right? Like, yeah, it sucks. It really does suck. And Jeremy does such a great job reporting on the Blues. And I felt like that quote was kind of needed because Robert Thomas's position is essentially being taken over by hashtag Captain Braden Shen. Oh, and I will talk about that frustrating loss to the Jets last night. I will, because Shen has some stuff to do with it. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't think I am overreacting. I mean, my stupid Twitter bio literally says it's Robert Thomas season because Robert Thomas is the best player on the St. Louis Blues without a doubt. And now they don't have Robbie. And it's like, well, now what? they're going to be playing tough games and without Robert Thomas. Even the easy games, I'm like, without Robert Thomas, like, is it just going to go downhill fast? And each game matters, St. Louis. Each game matters. And they didn't make it to the playoffs last season. And they can't afford to lose majority of these next 20 games. And that's even if he returns. So you can understand my panic in my voice when I'm talking about this because I am genuinely very concerned. Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. One thing that I love about Game Time Picks, though, is that they literally filter out everything so you can get exactly what you need with curated deals to make it even easier to find the best price for a great seat. They have the super deal seat views before you buy, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and more. Game Time Picks is currently making it easier to save more in sports, concerts, comedy, theaters, and more. You get your all-in pricing, and that is what I love about Game Time because they show you what it includes with the fees, so you're not surprised at the end like a lot of other apps do. Game Time just makes it so you see it all. Boom, boom, boom. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The Blues had a frustrating loss to the Winnipeg Jets last night. Hey, what's new? No, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I could believe it. Congratulations, first off, to Brandon Saad because he now has over 500 points with the 2 goals that he scored last night. So, shout out to him. However, the Blues had an opportunity to tie up the game in the final frame, and Captain Braden Shen couldn't rebound the puck in the net. It was open, but he couldn't get it in, and the Blues lost. Now, I'm not saying that's why the Blues lost. Okay, like that sounds kind of bad, right? However, it was right there, and I think it was just so frustrating because, oh my goodness, you have to understand they had so many opportunities last night. So for that to happen the way it did, I was like, are you actually kidding me? Um, but just so you know, and this is why it kills me because when I read to you about who gave Saw the assist, you're gonna just yeah. Mhm. So that first period, the feed was from Robert Thomas and Colton Parayko. And then in the third period, it was assisted the feed from Cairo, and then the secondary assist from Robert Thomas. Yep. Oh man, what are we gonna do without Robert Thomas? I don't know. I'm panicking. All of Winnipeg's goals, by the way, were in the second frame. They scored 8 minutes and 13 minutes and then 17 minutes. So of course, Kyle Connor. I talk about him all the time. I'm always like, oh, Kyle Connor, have to watch out for him. But literally, he always ends up scoring. The Jets did better in the faceoff of the 57%. So that's, not surprising because the Blues did not do well in the faceoff last night. The Blues actually did outshoot the Jets with 29 shots, and Hullebuck made 27 saves last night for Winnipeg. So Bennington made 21 saves, and now the Blues finish up their homestand. So Philip Broberg, by the way, who had 6 points in the first 6 games with 1 goal and 5 assists, well, that streak has come to an end. Yeah. Like, yeah, like it's cool that he had that streak. However, like it was inevitably, come to an like it had to come to an end at some point. So, um, but no, I am happy for Saad though because he did get his 500th career point in the first period, and it was his first goal this season. Gave the Blues a lead. He now has 254 goals and 246 assists in his 157 career, and he was drafted in the second round by the Blackhawks, by the way, in 2011. But yeah, overall with the Blues, it just was a frustrating loss. I mean, they had opportunity after opportunity last night. And maybe I'm just a negative fan, but I was so frustrated, okay? Like that second period was actually atrocious, and there is no doubt about it. But I just didn't understand how the Jets honestly were able to do that. I mean, Ryan Suter said, "We came out and we had a good first. The second, they're such an explosive team. You let off the gas a little bit and they take advantage of it. And that's what happened there in the second." And Saad said, "It's a tough game. I think we did a good job battling back. Second period, I think we're a little um, lackadaisical, yeah, with the puck. And they have a good hockey team, opportunistic, skilled. A lot of big words, by the way, from Saad. And they can capitalize on their plays. Overall, I thought we battled pretty hard, but we got to clean up the mistakes there in the second." Saad said about his goal and 500 points, a special for sure. It's something you kind of think about when you're on the way, and obviously you want to contribute to a win, but at the same time, it does feel good, which, good for Saad, right? Coach Bannister said, "I just think we kind of got away from our game. We were putting pucks deep in, and there was just one in the second." Hold on. Not only were they putting pucks deep in, they kept on passing and passing and not shooting. And then their shooting was just atrocious. All of it. They just could not shoot the puck and then turnover city. Anyways, we were putting pucks deep and it was just one, and the second guy was late, and it seemed to happen in the D zone a little too. We had times where we could end plays, but they were able to get their second guy in before us, so we kept on playing on our toes. I thought in the first and third we played on our toes. We were a little on our heels there in the second. Mm, um, yeah, I get it. You know, I understand what they're saying. However, on the other hand, I'm also like, well, you also didn't shoot the puck smart enough. But, I was very frustrated actually watching that game. I was live tweeting on Locked On Blues, and yeah, I was live tweeting, and it was messy. My tweets were the tea, what people say, because I was like freaking out on Twitter. Hey, NFL fans, you can start off the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. I always tell you what to do when it comes to the NFL because, again, I enjoy sports betting. Well, tomorrow night, if you don't want to watch the the Blues and the Leafs, there's also the Vikings and Rams on, and I do believe that Minnesota streak will come to an end at some point. So, well, it came to an end, but the Rams, they're not winning. Minnesota's gonna win. Like that's essentially it. Like these Thursday night games suck so much, and the Rams, like I'm a little salty because like I miss having our St. Louis Rams. So I'm gonna bet on the Vikings for this one. So FanDuel.com. I still can't believe that we lost our football team when we have a very passionate football city. Okay. Anyways, let's go talk about this road trip ahead. I am #nervous. However, I do need to talk about something, and that is my boy Scotty P is finally getting a chance. Um, so Bannister said there's a good chance Perunovic is going to be a player for us. He's going to get the chance. Now it's up to him to take the chance and run with it. Bannister then talked about Kessel. We've been trying to get Kess where he was last year. I don't think he's far off, but I find his decision making slow. I'd like to see quicker plays, but the biggest thing I thought last year he had more of a purpose to be physical, and I'm not seeing that. I'm happy for Perunovic, but this is literally his last chance to prove that he should be on this team. And yes, like, I know what you mean, like, "Oh, he's on the team," but, like, playing on the team, not just sitting in the press box. Um, yeah, it's about time you give him a chance. I was a little surprised as to maybe why the Blues didn't give him a chance to begin with. But, I mean, Matthew Kessel, and again, last season, he was impressive. I really did enjoy his play. But this season, like, things are just a little bit different for the 24, I believe he is. Yeah, he's 24 years old now, so definitely not young, right? I feel like he's younger in my head. But, I mean, this season, it's not good. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, 0 plus minus, everything, 0 penalty minutes, 0 like, everything's a 0 for him. Like, his stats this year literally are just 0, 0, 0. What's that one NBA meme? If you were listening, my everydayers, what is that one NBA meme where the stat is literally just 0, 0, 0, 0? That is honestly Matthew Kessel, despite that he's averaging about 11 minutes and 58 seconds a game. Yeah, he hasn't really stood out to me, and I mentioned this in a previous episode where I couldn't understand and the justification of having him in the lineup and not Scott Perunovic. I am happy though because it allows Perunovic to get experience. Well, not experience at this point. It allows him just to play and just to prove why he should be playing. But it also allows Kessel maybe to get Sparklet underneath him and say, you know what, Kess, if you're not going to play hard, this is what happens. And I think sometimes players, they do need that. They do need that sense of, I don't want to say like a scare tactic, but they do need that sense of, oh, there is repercussions if I'm not playing good hockey. But I do think this is a very beneficial situation for Scott Perunovic, and he should take full advantage of it. Um, anyways, this road trip ahead, yeah, I'm nervous. Like, I think playing against Berube tomorrow too just sets in a whole other set of emotions that I have personally. Um, just as somebody that I get emotional thinking about it because I just think about when we won the cup and it just was so perfect. And it's like we're so far off from that, right? Um, but playing Berube tomorrow definitely is going to be something the Canadians like. I'm not worried about the Flyers because they may never win a hockey game, right? I'm not worried about the Ottawa Senators. Actually, maybe a little bit, but like not overly concerned. Um, but now that Robert Thomas, I'm like, wait, maybe I should be a little bit more concerned. But we will see. All right. Well, I will talk to you tomorrow ahead of the Leafs game. Yep. Yep. Do I need to say anything else? I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.